and he's driving a slab. He's driving a Lexus, who is a sponsor of the food festival that he puts on every year. A Lexus, right, on swingers, right, pulling a barbecue pit with a trailer on swingers. Like this, it's just Houston. That's Houston. People look at that picture and they know exactly what that means. He's throwing the H up. They know exactly what that means. There's no ambiguity in that. There's no culture clash in that.
It crosses Houston. All colors. You know what I'm saying?
Just because he's white, just because he's a chef, it's not a culture clash. Because of the culinary industry, he represents Houston. The rims represent Houston. The barbecue pit represents Houston. The dome, the skyline, all of those things represent Houston equally.
What's up, guys? Super excited today. You saw that thumbnail correctly. Luxury Travel News, Bun B interview. And I know what a lot of you are thinking, Bun B, Luxury Travel News, how does that even go together? Well, one, LTN is my channel and I'm pretty much going to do whatever I want. But number two, it's really about the city of Houston. And what better ambassador for the city of Houston than Bun B? And as long as we known him, he's always wore H-Town on his back. So I did this interview a little bit right before he opened his Trill Burgers. And we discussed a little bit about his business ventures, how he's kept his brand as consistent as he has. We also spoke about hip hop turning 50, which was pretty dope because he turned 50 himself last year. And we also spoke a little bit about the legacy of the UGK brand. So this is a great interview. And without further ado, Luxury Travel News presents the Bun B interview. Tune in. Hey guys, this is Rafael Peña of Travel Noir, and I'm here with the OG, the legend, out here in Houston at 8th Wonder Brewery, Mr. Bun B.
How we doing, brother?
Hey, how you doing, bud? It's good to see you. It's good to talk to you. Man, you just have an amazing history in rap music and hip hop. And now you're doing all these kind of other business ventures that we are so excited, even as a Black community, to see you do these other things. We know you as the OG rapper, but now we're about to know you as. You want to tell us a little bit?
Well, I mean, look, I've really stepped from fully out of just being an artist to really understanding a lot more of the nuances of business and dealing in this in a different way, like a different perspective. For many years, I looked at myself as a recording artist in the music industry, but I'm really servicing people in the hospitality industry. That's what music is. Music is a life of service. I come to venues to entertain people, make sure they're having a good time. If they're not having a good time, walk them through it, right? Help them get through those moments and things. And so for me, I had to shift the dynamic in order to really take the things that I've learned in the past and utilize them in my future. So if I looked at everything I did as just being about music and entertainment, it'd be very hard to transition that into other spaces. But if I look at it as service and hospitality, where there's things I can pull from that and put into other spaces. And so for me, the easiest way to integrate those things was in the beverage space with the beer collaboration. I had some friends that I've known for a long time. They started out as a food company, the ET Boys. They moved into beverages, created a brewery, and they approached me about a collaboration on a beer. I thought it'd be a great way to move into a different industry, right? Create some residual income, but then also build a tighter connection with the culture and the community that I'm known for here in Houston. And so we created a beer. It was called Brew GK. You know what I'm saying? Staying on brand as much as possible. We tried to give it a bit of a flavor of a candy apple, because candy apple paint is a big deal here, and the candy apples themselves are a big treat here in town.
So it's representative of Houston culture.
Everything that I try to do has an element.
Well?
Yes, absolutely. I grew up eating candy apples and caramel apples in my family and all that. That candy apple is actually my wife's favorite, like, sweet treat, And so everything that we do, right, while it should execute its original purpose of existence, should still have points of cultural and integration involved in it. So it just makes for a deeper experience for people. We were able to do that with the beer. And so we came back around as the company moved into doing Delta 9 and CBD integration into their beverages. I was approached again about doing something in that space. we created a herbal spiced seltzer that has Delta 9 in it. I'm sorry, Delta 8 CBD in it. And so for me, my favorite drink is watermelon. You know, when we went to breakfast, I had a watermelon fresca with some sake in it, right? And so I told them, I said, look, flavor basis for me, watermelon is my favorite flavor. And I also think it's very underutilized in the beverage space. But obviously for good and sometimes bad reasons, it's highly identified with the Black community.
But I don't want the people that are watching this out there to, because I was privy to something that I didn't realize, but you're a very well-traveled person. You're very into food and the culinary stuff. Like,
yes.
I sat with Bun and he showed me what a kolache is. And if anyone's been around me, I'm usually the guy showing people what food is. But he taught me something brand new today, and I'm always gonna remember that. I just want you to like tap into like how important is it for you to always put Houston's culture in front? Like, why has that always been so like near and dear to you? Like we always coincide Bun B with Houston.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Look, I've been creating music now. This is my 31st year of actually creating music for people to buy and receive on a mass scale. And I've been given so much by so many people from so many different places, but I don't think anything compares to the love and the support that I've been given from the city of Houston from day one. You know what I'm saying? And so everything that I look at, you know, my wife is from Houston, my children went to school in Houston. Everything great about what my life is today, the heart and soul of that starts in Houston, right? So I go around the country. Obviously, I do more shows everywhere than I do in Houston, but the shows we do in Houston are so much more impactful and they just receive differently here locally. And so for me, I try to give back to this city and its culture as much as possible.
And which is why we always see you collaborate with the local businesses,
yes,
local apparel, and you somehow became kind of like a portal to the whole world for all of these businesses that are in Houston. Because when we find out about different things, we usually find them out from Bun B, apparently.
Well, look, I'm lucky though, right? Because so many people turn people on to me, right? People, I remember when I met Cameron. Cameron was like, you know, because Cameron went to college, played basketball at Blitz, and he was like, that's all motherfuckers were playing was UGK and Cash Money and No Limit and stuff like that. And he listened to it, he felt it, he connected with it, and he took it back to Harlem and let people know, hey, yo, there's some different shit
this is
going on down south. You know what I'm saying? So I have been a cultural export from this city for almost over 3 decades now. You know what I'm saying? And so when I create these products, whether it's a beer or a seltzer or even a hamburger, this is all about making a deeper connection with the community, but also being able to send more things from the community out into the world to be appreciated.
Now, before we jump into the burger, Brew GK, is that something that people would have to come to Houston to get?
Yeah, see, that's the problem. Unfortunately, with the way alcohol and tobacco industry is set up in Houston, we cannot ship out of state.
Now, he says it's a problem, but he actually loves that you have to come here to get it.
I do. Look, it's something that you can look forward to, but let's be real. Like from a monetary aspect, if I could sell my beer everywhere, I'd be making a lot more money. Because people call all the time from Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. Hell, I gotta jump through strings to try to ship it to in-state.
Yeah, when you mix in also the CBD aspect of it.
That's even a
global,
bigger issue.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are many states that are receptive to it that don't have an issue with it. Texas is not one of those states. It's actually something that's being argued in the state right now about whether or not products with Delta 8 are even legal. You know what I'm saying? But we're navigating those waters right now, and as long as there's ambiguity, we can sell.
Okay, perfect. So let's chop it up. Let's get to the icing on the cake for Bun B right now. You spoke about it as something that's going to become part of your legacy. Really, is this amazing culinary experience that you've been providing here through pop-up shops for the last few years. Tell us about Trill Burger and where do you see this going at this point?
Trill Burger started as a pop-up concept almost 2 years ago. Actually, right now would be maybe a month, 2 years and a month to date. and it was something that was, I've been looking for an entry space into the culinary industry for years. Me and a good friend of mine, Premium Pete, have operated a food blog called YouGottaEatThis.com for over 10 years now. So it's always been obviously a fascination with food. But as I got to know more and more chefs, like right here, the guys from Eighth Wonder, they started as the ET Boys, amazing chefs. They started as a food truck, and now they're brick and mortar establishment. But as I got more, knowledgeable of the culinary scene and just how things operate, and the idea that in the same way that an album represents me to the world, and it's me showing the better version of myself and trying to represent for my environment and my community, chefs made me realize that that's what they do with food.
Yeah.
That I had to understand that there's really no difference in the intention.
It's expression.
Right, and it goes down to the intention of what I intend to convey with my album is the same thing that they intend to convey with their food, right? That's their intention as well. And so once I understood that dynamic, I was like, well, yeah, I can still represent the city through the food, right? If I have the right food concept, right, and it works, that's another way for me to represent the city. It offers a deeper connection to the city, the people that already support me, and affords people a deeper immersion into Bun B, right? Just shows them another thing that I'm into, other things that I'm doing. I've been very good at opening people up to my world progressively, you know what I'm saying? And people have been really receptive to it. I have no problem showing vulnerability in public, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not afraid to take an L in front of people.
So like big, as we spoke earlier, a big part of your brand, and as we know you, is credibility. Even through hip hop, other artists, when they collaborate with you, they always speak on how, hey, if I reach out to Bun B, he's gonna do his best to bring it back, or he's gonna keep it 100 and say whether he can do it or not. You know what I'm saying?
But that comes with transparency, though.
Yeah.
Right. That's the thing, right? That comes with transparency. You have to be able to be like, look, this is who I am. You either fucking with it or you're not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And be good with that.
Yeah, and what's really also dope is, which I can credit also to your business, and something that we've talked about, is you've never oversaturated yourself. We've never been in a period of your timeline and said, damn, I'm sick of hearing Bun B.
Well, one thing is like, for example, you look at UGK and the branding and the marketing of UGK, there has never been like this massive influx of t-shirts and hats and merchandise, right? Particularly after, we didn't really do a lot of it when Pepsi was alive, and I've done very little of it since he's passed away, because I don't want to bastardize the brand, right? I know that there's inherent value in UGK, but the more you pull out of it, the less there is into it.
It might be technically one of the most amazing hip hop logos as well, the UGK one.
Yes.
The fact that a lot of the newer generations probably really haven't seen it yet, it's kind of sucks a little bit.
But it's okay, because actually there is something in the works that will allow the younger generation to have a much closer connected point to them. So there will be a way that they will be presented with UGK, the brand, particularly the logo, very soon. That will make it very hard for the younger demographic to avoid it, not to have to do a deep dive into.
Dope. And I can't have you here and not discuss the fact that hip hop is 50 years old this year.
So am I.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, by the way.
Hey.
Bun B, you're the same age as hip hop, and
that's not lost on me.
It's not.
Lost on me.
It's pretty amazing. And like, what could you say? I don't want to go into like the list or who inspired you or things of that nature, but what does it mean to you to see hip hop turn 50 right now? And where do you see it going? Like, are you happy with the trajectory of where it is?
I'm absolutely excited about where hip hop is in the 50 year. First of all, hip hop is still one of the youngest art forms in the world, particularly in America, right? So we're still in infancy stages, and we've got a lot accomplished in a very short period of time. But for me, I look at hip hop in 50 years, and I look how hip hop has expanded, and I look at how hip hop has innovated, and I look at how hip hop is literally how do I say this? Hip hop is almost a blueprint for hip hop can show you how to connect to people that don't look like you, that don't talk like you, right? I did so many speaking engagements during COVID, during George Floyd, because so many corporations didn't even know how to have these conversations about where we are in terms of race in this country. And so I was able to have those conversations and come from a very multifaceted and diverse community of people to not only speak to what it means to represent, what it means to be a black man, but also what it means to work with people who don't come where you come from and how to get those points across. And that's typically what hip hop has been. It's been a sounding board for so many different issues, not just issues that affect people that come from inner cities, but anytime anything crazy happens in the world, hip hop speaks to it. You know what I'm saying? We create these freedom songs. We are the one that create these new anthems that make people stand up, the protest music. We're the ones that provide that. We are the voice of America now. Yeah. Dare I say the world, because if you look at things happening in Sudan or all these other places, there's always an artist, there's always a rapper coming from out of that environment, speaking to the struggle and the pain of the people. But it's also showed us how to age gracefully, too. Right? Hip hop was always considered a young man's sport, and now the old school tour ain't just the Isley Brothers and Maze anymore. Now it's Bun B and it's Juvenile and A-Ball and JT and Scarface and Trina and Lil Kim and Cameron, all these different people, right? Like, we've lived long enough to reach nostalgia, right? Which perpetuates a revenue stream for people. But hip hop also sells almost every commercial good on the planet. Hip hop culture. It's either the music, somebody's breakdancing in the goddamn video, the Bumblebee from Cheerios is rapping, the Kia hamsters, all of that stuff, right? Because it's inherently cool. And so, because of the fact that hip hop as a genre and as a culture is still cool at 50, that just tells me that I'm still cool.
You're still out here
at 50, representing. And I'll be very honest. I look up every now and then. I'll be like, man, how long do I want to do this? How long do I really want to be a part of this? And then I hear Cube's in town and Rakim's in town, and I go run to see it.
To see the show,
right? And then it dawns on me that, you know what? You're somebody's version to them of what Rakim meant to you. And when you're still out here doing it makes them feel good. Look, I'm not the only 50-year-old person that's into hip hop, right? None of our needs are the same, right? Our hours are different. We don't thrive at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. like we used to.
We don't.
You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean we don't still want to commune culturally and enjoy each other
and have a good time.
Absolutely.
I think that's what hip hop really did around the world. It's like you took this, class of like lower class, well, not lower class, but you took poor people that took something and
took working class.
Yeah, took working class people, took nothing, made it into something, and that inspired the whole world.
And look, the reality is that it's not lost on me that hip hop was originally only meant to serve the people initially in that community, right? This was their way of dealing with the conditions. But it also became a great way for other people to deal with their conditions.
And express their conditions.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah, it became more of a blanket. So wherever you are in your life, you can still express yourself through hip hop.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And if it has a good beat, we were gonna get into it.
Even better. My wife always says, like, I don't know what half these dudes are saying on the song, but if the beat is good, I'm gonna listen to it. And then she said, I'll probably buy it.
That's where we are.
Yeah, but I say all that to say, man, that as hip hop went from just being an art form and moved into the commercial industry and the advertising industry and the branding industry and the marketing industry, so did I. Every time I saw hip hop moving in a different space, I started to wonder, is there room for me in that space? How do I utilize hip hop to enter in that space? And if not that space, how can I use hip hop culture to move me into different spaces?
Or create other spaces.
Absolutely.
Of my own. Let's get back to, because it's travel noir and things of that nature,
Yes.
I just want you to pinpoint some of the things or some of the places that people need to see when they come to Houston. Like, what are Bun B's top locations to like give me a place to eat. Like where should I eat? Where should I get fresh?
If you come to Houston, you're gonna eat. You got to go to breakfast at the Breakfast Club.
Okay.
You have to go to breakfast at the
Did
Breakfast
that.
Club. Right? You should definitely be trying to do lunch at Turkey Leg Hut if you can get in. It's gonna be a line. But that's a great place to spend an afternoon. For dinner, I would recommend. That's a good question. In Houston, definitely State 48 is a great place to go to dinner. But then also, let me switch that. I'm gonna say Esther's for lunch.
Esther's for lunch.
I'm gonna say Esther's for lunch. But that's a great soul food lunch.
Yeah.
But you can also get a drink if you want to drink it. And I would say maybe close out the day at Turkey Leg Hut. Yeah, because you can wind your day down, right? The food's going to be a lot heavier at Turkey Leg Hut as well. But there's also there's a very good vibe at Turkey Leg Hut. You know, there's hookah, there's drinks, there's music.
Houston has hookah, and I was so excited about it.
So I got out here. So I would say Esther's for lunch, Turkey Leg Hut to close out the evening. Especially if you're preparing to go out to somewhere else. Turkey Leg Hut is a great way of getting the vibe, and you can actually talk to people, meet people from the nightlife, and get suggestions on where to go. And then for brunch, I would definitely say Lucille's.
Got it. So you got his top food choices. Now, before I came out, or before I knew that I was gonna come check you, because this interview was like very last minute set together. Like I didn't even know till yesterday. So I woke up this morning and I was like, yo, there's one thing that I know Bun B, and Bun B is always fresh. Like every time I see him, and I don't know if you got a little bit of like, cause I'm from New York, and I always felt like out of all the South people, you kind of had like this flair where New York was like, yeah, I can fuck with Bun B, because Bun B's on some like fly shit.
Yeah, no, I pay attention. I pay attention to I don't want to say trends, but there's fly shit happening.
Yeah.
In the fashion industry, and it's always changing. And the reality is that I can't do all of it. Right? There are certain things that are going to work for me, and there's certain things that just not going to work.
Right. So speaking to that, what are the stores in Houston that guys should come check out, or the ladies should come check out?
I'm on Manye. Easy.
I'm on Manye?
Yeah, Manye. Yes.
Manye.
Yes, absolutely.
Got it.
You can't beat it. Owned by James Widner and of the Widner Group, and he also owns Social Status. But I mean, they curate so well.
Experience.
They curate experience, the clothing and everything. I mean, you get ready-made. You know what I'm saying? You get Casablanca here, you get Greg Lauren here. You can get Dior in that store.
Wow.
Without having to go to a Dior boutique. You can get high-end brands in that store, Balenciaga. You know what I'm saying? It's really well curated. They have toys, they have accessories, they have jewelry. In our location in Houston, there's actually a cafe in here. So it's an amazing brand that's curated extremely well. If you go ask for Xavier, tell him the OG sent you. You know what I'm saying?
You might get a Bun B discount. We don't know that.
I don't know the discount, but you'll definitely get access to the fly and shit. Like he'll make sure to be like, they stock gallery department down. So you know it's definitely a key spot to go. Now, if you're looking for sneakers, I would definitely tell you to go to Sneaker Summit. It's the top resale space in the town. If you're looking to buy retail sneakers, then I would definitely say go to Premium Goods. Premium Goods, it's still a quick strike location, so they still get very, very high end limited access.
Limited edition.
Yes, absolutely.
Get the J's.
Absolutely, and they do collaborations. They just did, their owner Jennifer just did a collaboration with 2 different versions of an Air Force One. Representation of Black women in business. So, not only do we have the clothes, we have the curation of the clothes so that people can really look at you and be like, okay, I see what you're into. I'm still trying to get them to get capital. Like, for me right now, I'm looking at me like, if you're stocking capital, you're going for it. Shout out to my brother Jason Jeter. Jason Jeter just opened his new spot in Atlanta. He's got capital in there, but he's another fresh dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, this is great material. And just lastly, and I can let you carry on with your day because you've been so gracious. I appreciate. Bun B is one of the nicest people I ever met. Seriously. At Travel Noir, we cover a lot of Black-owned businesses, and when I tend to go to all these different cities and stuff like that, we highlight them and we give them their props and we always support them. I just want you to give our readers tell them why it's important to support Black-owned business, and why they should go to their local Black food shop or Black retailer. You know what I'm saying? We just want to get your take on that.
Well, I think, to be very honest, I don't think Black people have a good reason to not support Black business, and I think that should be enough to get you in the door, right? There is no concern that Black people should have about supporting Black people. The number one thing that I hear people say when it comes to supporting Black business is, well, they're going to jack the price up for the product that you're looking for. Everybody jacks the price up,
yeah.
right? But we never take these things into consideration when we buy from fashion houses, when we buy from bookend stores, right? When we buy from chains, we never take into consideration what the markup is on that, what their profit margin is on that, how much they're really making off of what they present to us, and how much advantage is being taken. You know what I'm saying? We only think about that when it comes to our people, right? And the reality is that maybe you're putting a little bit too much of how you think on other people. Maybe that's how you would run a business. Maybe that would be the dynamic between you and your Black customers. Don't put that on other people. Give these people the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? Don't go into it assuming that the product is less than. You would be surprised how many people of color build products, electronic products, design clothes. You don't know who designed that Versace shirt, right?
Right.
You don't know if it was a white man or if it was Soleil, right? You don't know who designed any of these things in these fashion houses because you're not in the room. The assumption is if you buy something from a white store that it was built and designed by white people, and nothing could be further from the truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just give it a chance, right? Just give it a chance. That's all I say. Don't walk into the situation assuming that the Black person is in such a dire situation that they have to overcharge you. Right? The primary goal for the majority of Black businesses is to be quality product that's affordable. No one understands the condition of the Black community better than Black business owners.
Yes.
They know exactly how much the people that they hope would be their constituents earn, right?
And they're taking it into consideration.
Absolutely, right? So they're trying to give you the best product that they can make, right? Available for you in your community for the best price possible.
Yeah, and if you're quick to give Balenciaga $1,500 and your man has come up with a pair of jeans that's like $200, why wouldn't you support your man's jeans?
What's crazy about it is that when these people leave these fashion houses and they go into the world and create their own brands, we treat it as a lackluster product. But that design was all good when he was in this atelier, right?
Yeah.
But not in his own space. We'll go and buy Dapper Dan when he collaborates with Gucci, when he collaborates with the Gap. Right. But we're not just going to Dapper Dan.
Yeah, we don't pull up to Harlem and get it.
And so we've got to be, now there are people that support Civic Exclusive Game in Atlanta, gets a lot of support in the culture. You know what I'm saying? Bringing quality product to people. But I think a lot of that's got to do with the turnaround too. He delivers a very, very quality product, but in a very short window.
Okay.
So that's a lot of that, but that's literally having a team that's working.
I mean, we don't like to wait. That's the thing.
But his team works, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, around the clock, right? If Jamie Foxx, God bless him, get well soon, Jamie Foxx needs something on Friday, and he calls T on Wednesday. T's gonna have that done on Thursday and be on the plane, and we'll bring it. Right? If we can't get it done in enough time to ship it, I'm going to bring you this product. We are more than willing to go above and beyond the call of duty for our customers. You know what I'm saying? And there's still not enough grace that we extend to our brothers and sisters in the entrepreneurial movements. I really, really think we could do a lot better. I don't think they're asking much of us for the support. And the stores that we typically go to and spend money to barely acknowledge us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And
we give them everything. And we give them everything. And they don't thank us for coming in. And they don't thank us when we leave. Right? It's all about the bottom line for them. There's so much more we can be doing in our communities. If there isn't a brand that Black people support from non-black people that we couldn't build in our own communities.
Right.
Not a single one, right? And it may not be on the same level as other stores, but it can still be operational, it can still be functional, it can still be accessible, and still be very well at executing the product they deliver in a timely fashion. Are we going to beat Amazon? No, we're not going to beat Amazon. It's too big of a behemoth to beat Amazon on timing and shipping. That's just not going to work.
But Amazon can sell our shipping.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
We'll buy our stuff when Amazon sells it. We'll go and buy it when we sell it. I don't understand.
So, you know, just
and supply chain, and just to be frank, supply chain for black entrepreneurs is not the same. Just so you know. So their accessibility to ingredients, resource, materials, and all of that.
It's harder for them.
It's much harder for them to source, and it's harder for them to get it in a reasonable time. So again, I ask you to give them grace. Don't let them make it, right? Don't let them make it, because we need our people to be tough on us so we can deliver properly. But give them grace.
Give them grace. And there you have it, guys. Bun B. Support Brew GK when you come down to Houston, right here at the 8th Wonder Brewery, and also be on the lookout for the brick and mortar for Trill Burger. This is about to be the best burger in the whole world, and you gotta come to Houston to get it. Bun B, on behalf of Travel Noir, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, brother. And enjoy Houston.
Oh, I will. I definitely will. Thank you.
Luxury Travel News.